Welcome to Teaching Truth. Britain's greatest Olympian shared a family moment to treasure among the sparkle and the spectacle of the opening ceremony of the 2014 Commonwealth Games in Glasgow on the evening of Wednesday, 23rd July. With the Queen's baton ceremony nearing its conclusion, Sir Chris Hoy accepted the baton from his great lion-hearted uncle, 97-year-old Carnoustie war veteran Andy Coogan. Andy, who Sir Chris has described as his inspiration to become a sportsman, was a champion runner whose capture during World War II saw him subjected to slavery, starvation, and having to twice dig his own grave. Great Uncle Andy was a true hero who taught his great nephew to never give up, which made all the more poignant the moment during the opening ceremony when he rose slowly from his wheelchair to be embraced by his great nephew, to whom he passed the baton at the end of its final journey. A lovely touch by Sir Chris and a fitting honour for the old man and truly great uncle. Well, I don't want to take you today to the opening ceremony of the Commonwealth Games in Glasgow, but I do want to take you to the opening ceremony of the walls which had been rebuilt in Jerusalem. The opening ceremony of which we read in the 12th chapter of the Nehemiah memoirs. And the opening ceremony provides the theme for our reflections this week as we dig into the soil of Nehemiah chapter 12. You know, some things are just worth celebrating, aren't they? And the people in Nehemiah's time had really pulled off an incredible project against unbelievable odds. They had rebuilt the walls of the city, the holy city of Jerusalem, finishing the construction part of the project in a little under 2 months. In fact, in 52 days. And so with the walls completed, not only would the residents of the city enjoy an increased sense of security, but all the pilgrims who would travel to Jerusalem, the holy city, 3 times a year would feel a lot safer too. This was a tremendous triumph for all of God's people. So a big celebration, a huge party, you would think would be in order. I mean, if you had concluded a grand design project, building your own home, your own unique home, you would want to get the champagne out and host a party for your friends and neighbours and family at the conclusion of the project. So if you had to plan such an occasion, such as the rebuilding a massive project of the walls of Jerusalem, what sort of things might you include? Well, we would expect some huge congratulations to be in order, wouldn't we, on such an occasion? Nehemiah, cupbearer to the king, governor, master bricklayer, clerk of works, project manager. You would have expected from Nehemiah to hear a rousing speech thanking and praising the people for their hard work. We might have expected him, given that he was a governor appointed by the Persian king, to lead the people in 3 cheers for King Artaxerxes, who had allowed, remember, the project to go forward and had provided generous financial support and materials for it. But here's the interesting thing. that as you delve into the 12th chapter of the Nehemiah memoirs, there is no speech making, no recorded speech by Nehemiah in the whole and entire passage. You would also think that there might have been a committee of some sort who might have clubbed together to give some kind of presentation to Nehemiah as a thank you gift for overseeing the rebuilding of the walls of Jerusalem, for mobilizing the people, for leading, as it were, from the front. After all, Nehemiah was the one who got the ball rolling, who took the risky step of asking King Artaxerxes for help. Nehemiah was the one who had overseen the whole project from day one. Nehemiah was the one who kept encouraging the people in face of opposition from Sanballat and Tobiah. Nehemiah was the one who organized the defensive efforts of the people and made sure that the work on the walls did not stop but continued. Surely Nehemiah, this man of all men, deserved some recognition for his tremendous contributions. I mean, the ancient equivalent of a gold watch, or at least a plaque with his name on it. But again, here's the interesting thing. Just as there were no congratulatory speeches, there was no adulation for the leaders, Nehemiah, who had made it possible. In verse 31, whilst it indicates that Nehemiah planned and organized the entire opening ceremony, as it were, Nehemiah himself makes it very clear in verse 38 that he took, as it were, the last place in the second choir. Nehemiah was only too happy to let others have the limelight. And therein is a shining example for us of a good and a godly leader who did not seek the recognition, who did not seek the applause, but one who was a humble servant of the people, who let others have the limelight and who took his place, as it were, at the back of the queue. Nehemiah was a humble man of God, and he defined in that sense the nature of the celebration. The champagne wasn't out, there wasn't a huge party. Actually, the celebration in its nature was God glorifying. For if there weren't any speeches and if there weren't any awards handed out, how did the people celebrate a job well done? What sort of things did they think were appropriate for such a momentous occasion? Well, join me tomorrow in Teaching Truth as we dig in further to the exciting narrative of the 12th chapter of the Nehemiah memoirs, as we look tomorrow at the location of the celebration, the location where the opening ceremony in Jerusalem took place.